Luxury without limitations, style without compromise, a life well lived. Welcome to Selling the Luxe Life, the only radio show that seeks out and highlights the deeply authentic and genuinely meaningful, unique luxury lifestyle experiences in Orange County, bringing new and emerging premier products and services to discerning clients and connecting the affluent customer to the finer things in life.
Hello everybody and welcome to this episode of Selling the Luxe Life. I am Rod Gantis and we are here at Reborn Coffee. As you know, this show basically tries to really find things that are a little bit off the beaten path and bring it to you, but we really believe that luxury isn't about the price, it's about the quality, and that there should be no sacrificing of that. Coffee is something that we all interact with every day, whether you drink it or you know somebody who does drink it. And for me, I need it because without it, I am not safe to myself or others around me. And today I have these two gentlemen with me here. We're at Reborn's location in Southern California. It's a very exciting brand that's happening, a lot of great technology behind it. It's like it's coffee, right? Well, no, not quite. We're going to find out a little bit more about that. And so I'd like to introduce my guests on Selling the Luxe Life today, Mr. Sun Kim and Mr. Howard Nell. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here.
Thank you for the interview.
Oh, my pleasure, man. It was really exciting when I found out about it. And I want to give a shout out to my high school friend and buddy that I've known for way too long, and yet we have an agreement that nobody tells anything about background stories beyond 10 years. So Mr. Tarek Risha, who introduced me to these gentlemen, actually introduced me to the brand before. I remember going to Tarek's house in Corona Del Mar, and he basically said, well, I got this little thing you might want to try. And I said, what is it? He goes, coffee. I go, coffee? You guys are all drinking bourbon and champagne. Why are you giving me coffee? You know what? I didn't want the bourbon and champagne. This was much better. So tell us, Son, a little bit about Reborn and how long it's been around. A little bit of the background story, if you will.
So Reborn actually didn't start as coffee. It started with decades of research for water. Right?
Okay.
So we have a nuclear physicist who resides in Seoul, Korea. And his mission was to figure out how to perfect water and its ability to absorb in the human body, improve its use for agriculture. Pretty much water is like the essence of all life. It's what every living form needs to.
The human body is mostly composed of water, and I think I've heard about this. I do wellness and spas a lot, and we talk about the oxygenated water. We talk about I know people that basically drink Pedialyte and electrolytes, and and if you think about athletes, so basically I know it's mostly sugar, but at one point when it first started, Gatorade was supposed to be like sort of a replenishment thing, right? So liquids are very important. Water is the purest you can have it, but it doesn't mean that all water is equal.
Right.
Especially with the way modern life is and other things that impact our natural sources of water, right? So this process that you're talking about, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. It's a patented process. So after about 20 years of, I think about 2 decades of research, he figured out how to, because everyone's adding stuff to their water, and instead of adding stuff, his idea was to improve its molecular properties. Mm-hmm. So he designed this magnetic process, a device that the water runs through, and then at the end comes out what we call nano water. It's the clusters have been broken down into nano clusters, much smaller than typical water. So hydration is far improved, and we've got like scientific documents just showing all the readings of the water. So with that water, he applied it to the second love of his life, which was coffee. Studying the bean, the characteristics, the properties of the coffee bean, the beautiful notes that are found in each unique origin. Mm-hmm. Every because wherever coffee grows, it's a different elevation. There's going to be a different terroir.
It's just like wine. It
Right.
takes on a different characteristics. Yeah.
Right. So like if there's blueberries that are naturally growing around in that terroir, it's like the coffee also is going to pick up those notes. If there's strawberries, whatever it is,
Right.
coffee does retain very unique notes, and the elevation also plays a huge role. So you're going to get like, let's say Ethiopia, which is growing at higher elevation, is going to be much more fruit forward. It's brighter. It's more playful, and then people tend to really love the Ethiopian beans. And then you get South America, which a lot more and different elevation also. Warm, nutty undertones. You get like really strong chocolatey notes. I mean, so there are a lot of things. Even in Kenya, they found a coffee bean that resembles. There's a tomato note in there. So people are really figuring out that coffee isn't just coffee. It drinks like a fine wine.
Well, and what's interesting is we're talking about the water table. It really you can think about it in terms of the roots basically all feeding into the same ecosystem. So there's cross filtration. There's stuff that's shared in that environment. I totally get it. The one thing I wanted to ask about the water. So you actually had what you were talking about was like basically reborn water,
Right.
to begin with,
Right.
And so that is a big thing these days. I mean, just the quality of water and what you basically drink. I mean, I like to drink a lot of water, and I thought I was doing great because I was just drinking filtered water, right? But just drinking enough of it.
Right.
And then somebody basically told me, well, it's actually not really good for you to drink a lot of water just as water.
Right.
Because at some point you could actually almost like have a toxicity from drinking too much water, and so the quality of the water is equally important. And yes, anybody who drinks coffee understands the critical importance of water in the process.
Absolutely.
So with these beans that you're talking about, what do you guys have all of those beans as part of your offering now with Reborn, or do you specialize in certain beans?
So we actually we're really good with the Ethiopian bean. There's so many possibilities for us to produce just a world-class product with the Ethiopian bean.
Okay.
I mean, same with the other beans, but particularly with the Ethiopia, we source from Sidamo Guji, that particular bean, and we figured out how to blend it with it's called kosher. That particular blend is what is just outrageous.
And is this what we're drinking today?
That one is going to be our Valencia blend. That's kind of our house blend.
Okay, it's fabulous, and I don't usually put anything in my coffee, and a lot of times I find that what is out there is either too diluted and too weak, or it is actually way too bitter and over roasted.
Yep.
And so then this is really a joy to drink today. Okay, so so how long has Reborn been around as a company with a coffee offering?
I'd say like solid 3 years. I mean, we've been in research and development even before that. So the idea of this Reborn concept of cafes, the coffee products, has been around for 5 years. But we've been really in business, and we've opened up stores for about the 3 years, solid 3 years. Yeah.
And where do you have your stores right now?
Currently, we have one in Brea. That's our flagship store. And then it's a little bit east of the Brea Mall, and then we have one in Glendale, and then a third one that's opening up at the end of January, which is in Corona Del Mar, off of PCH.
Yeah, I drove by there, excited to see that come in. It's the closest one to me.
Right.
Where's the one in Glendale?
It's on Foothill Boulevard. It's actually like borderline.
It's La Crescenta.
La Crescenta.
It's right off of Foothill. It's right off the 210.
So you guys are both obviously coffee drinkers.
Yep.
Love it. And I just want to add,
yeah.
the 3 years that we've been operational, even though we're a small startup company, you want to be humble, but at the same time, we did win America's Best Cold Brew 2 years in a row.
Thank you for mentioning. Thank you for mentioning that, Howard. And I do want to also emphasize that the technology you're talking about isn't necessarily you guys are perfecting it, but the idea behind that technology has been around a long time. And the fact that you guys shared your R&D sort of, if you will, prior to actually rolling out the brand, it speaks volumes, because I find a lot of people basically rush to market. Yep. And they don't really do that, and it really their product and their brand suffers later, because they're trying to they're building the plane while they're trying to fly, rather than basically do the legwork in advance, and it shows. It really does. especially in a very competitive market. This is a very competitive market, right?
Absolutely.
Anything else, Howard, that you'd like to add?
I know that we highlighted the water, the source of the bean, but truly, just to go back to the water that we use, it doesn't matter what type of coffee bean that you have. We believe that whether it's from a lesser origin or higher origin, we're gonna pretty much extract the highest notes that particular bean could possibly yield. So that this water is pretty much elevating any coffee bean regardless.
Premiumizing, we could premiumize less premium beans. We could bring out those notes. And so
By putting it through the process. Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. Especially with production of any resource of this nature is scarce sometimes.
Yes.
And so sometimes you have to basically either go, in fact, that's what happens sometimes with the blending, is that they basically got small production of certain things that are high grade, and they blend them with other stuff to get a little more volume out of it, and that's where the product potentially could start risking quality. And so this is pretty huge as far as the technology goes. I totally get that. What are your hopes with this brand? I mean, do you have any projections as far where you'd like to see yourselves in 5 years? Are you on every corner, or what are we thinking?
Well, there's the retail side, there's the product side, there's wholesale distribution. There are so many things, B2B, B2C. So when Howard and we both came on board, we started trying to figure out what is our true story.
We try to figure out what coffee was first.
What coffee was? Why we do what we do. That's what we had to figure out. But more importantly, when we came on board, we just thought, okay, we're opening up stores. We have an amazing product. But as we started uncovering the beauty of what this technology does, we can even say this. It doesn't even have to be coffee. It could be Reborn water. Has your water been reborn? Has your juice been reborn?
I was gonna actually tell you if you actually had. I would like to try the Reborn water. Because I'll tell you, we're opening a medical spa right now in Newport Coast, and one of the things that is basically being used to differentiate this particular location is glass bottled water that is being basically processed in a certain way from a local. It's almost like a microbrewery, or like a craft beer place, and there's an interest in that kind of stuff. And so I can imagine that yes, the coffee absolutely hit me with that at first thing in the morning, but then I'm going to want a lot of water for the rest of the day. That's pretty cool. What
future plans?
Yeah, that's almost sounds like it's open-ended.
We love opening up stores because we really like to bring the community together through our stores. We like to we want to become the cornerstone of every community because coffee, food, all of that. It's not only a necessity, but it shouldn't just be a necessity. It should be something that's really truly enjoyed. People break bread. People drink coffee. They have
there's a social component.
Social component, right? So we have stores. So we do have an idea of launching a franchise with our stores. But I think there's also another component. We can also process beans and work with farms and farmers to really put them on the spotlight. The lesser known farmers, right? To process those beans and allow for them, and that could be our sustainability story too. There are these farms that aren't recognized as much as some of the big farms that everybody knows about. And what if we could premiumize their beans, run it through a process so they could sell it at a higher dollar per pound or whatever it is.
Well, let me mention this too, son, and I would suggest everybody goes to the Reborn Coffee website. What's the website?
RebornCoffee.com.
RebornCoffee.com. Can't forget that. It's easy, right? But go check it out because I actually was very impressed, and I mentioned this to this gentleman here when I first walked in. Read the content, okay? Every website has about us and mission and all this stuff. Okay, take the time to read this because I actually, and I consider myself jaded. Okay, but I basically really enjoyed reading it because it is very interesting the way that they are very candid, they're very open, they're very real, and the things that are meaningful to them. Yes, they have an amazing product. They have an amazing process. It is almost open-ended where they choose to go with it, and I can't wait to see what they do with it and what that journey looks like. But there's really a soul to their business. There is There's a diversity factor that's important to them. There's a social component, investment in community that's important to them, and it comes through. If you read between the lines, and they will tell you in certain parts, that is very much evident. And so it's not just me drinking a cup of coffee. I'm drinking something that has a meaning and something behind it, and hopes and aspirations that include a social component where they're like was just Sun was just sharing, where you go to a smaller farm or something like that, and you're elevating. It's like almost like that rising tide raises all boats kind of thing. So please check that out, and we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have a surprise for you. Welcome back to Selling the Luxe Life. I'm Rod Gantis, and we are here in a different location this time. I told you there'd be a surprise, right? And right now I've got Sun with me, and I've got Jacob with me here. And where are we, Sun?
We're at the flagship Reborn retail coffee shop in Brea, California.
In Brea, California. It's great space. I love it. It's got a great vibe. And we want to cover a couple of things here. I want to start off with, tell me a little bit about the concept for the store and how you basically you mentioned it on the website. And again, let's give people the website to follow up on. What's the website?
Reborncoffee.com.
Reborncoffee.com. So go check out the website. There's a lot of information on there. And if you're just joining us, there's stuff about the process that we covered in the first part of this episode that is really, really cool stuff. So you should find out about it. This is your flagship store. How long has it been open?
About a year and a half.
Year and a half. How's it been?
It's been picking up.
It gets busy?
A lot busier.
Okay. So tell me about this, because there's a coffee shop in every corner, right? When you guys put together the idea of having a retail location, what was your approach?
Well, of course, we want to share our coffee, our technology with the world, and we start by having a place where the community can get really involved. It's a place like education about coffee. It's a big place people can meet, have a date. Just trying to be the cornerstone of whatever community we're in, but also bringing like that ultra premium, accessible coffee products to communities that don't necessarily have like ultra specialty coffee. We could easily open up a shop in LA, right? We'll have San Francisco, but around every street corner there's some sort of third wave coffee shop. So we feel like suburban areas like Brea, Corona del Mar, the beach community, Glendale, those are all areas where people do need to see what we do.
Well, to your point, it's outside of the shot, but right across the way is actually residential units. What's interesting to me is I'm sitting here looking out of this, and what I'm looking at is a coffee shop in the neighborhood, right? With actually people just walking down to go to the coffee shop. It's almost like a little downtown zone. So you could have easily put this in a retail strip mall, and you could have put it in a mall. You might down the road do a kiosk concept. I think you guys were talking about possibly too. But I like the fact that you're anchoring your culture, company culture, and your selection of location is right in line with what you were talking about before.
Right. Well, it's like you said, we want to be really community based, and there's a lot of like built-in like families and regulars that come in. That's like the whole point. I feel like for coffee is community.
Well, and I think for anybody, there's a culture around coffee, right? There's a culture around, so you were saying the social component. And so, again, a place that everybody knows your name, if you're a local and, all things being local, it's sort of important. You were saying, Jacob, you're telling me that it gets busy.
Oh yeah. I mean, it has a lot to do with like the time of year. Once it starts to get even like a little bit cold, it's coffee weather. But we've also we've gotten a little bit of a reputation with cold brew of the year 2 years in a row now, which is pretty. Yeah, that's the
Great
one.
cold brew, amazing cold brew.
So we've literally had people come from out of state, like just to try it, which has been super humbling and really, really cool.
Wow, out of state.
Yeah. Yeah, which is.
So if you're in the state of California, 2 things you need to do: In-N-Out burgers and cold brew at Reborn.
You got it.
Yeah, in that order.
Yeah.
Well, you leave the best for last.
Yeah.
That's why it's in that order. Besides, I think I'd like to have the Reborn flavor in my mouth last longer than the In-N-Out.
Oh yeah.
No, not King In-N-Out. I love In-N-Out.
Well, after you've had a giant burger too, feeling a little sluggish, you need some
Right,
caffeine.
you need a little digestion. I'm not kidding. This is really, really great cold brew, and they have nitros here too. So FYI. So what do we have here, though? Because this is really interesting. So tell me about this.
So this is our Reborn pour over pack. It's really for those who are on the go, who don't really have a lot of time to, well, whether you're a jet setter or
I know nobody like that.
Right. I mean, you can have fancy gear, but I think there has to be a coffee delivery system that's easily disposable, but also just convenient. And good coffee should be convenient. So this is a Japanese technology that we sourced and we brought here. It comes in these little packs. And inside these packs it's a little bag like this. Then you just tear off the top, and it's already pre-dosed with our Reborn coffee grinds. And you place the anchors on the cup.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So it gives you the pour over that pour over experience. I take it camping. I travel quite a bit, so if I'm on a plane, there's no airline with really good coffee. So just ask for hot water and you're good to go.
So that's all it is. I mean, the whole package, everything is. You don't need any holder, any plastic, any washable component. It's just totally disposable.
Right.
The dosage is already measured for you.
Easy to clean up.
I waste coffee all the time. I'm like, I'm going to fresh grind my coffee every morning, which I do on fresh French press. But there's always, I could always either do too much or too little, and I drink coffee every day and I still don't have it right.
So this is good coffee made simple. Is exactly what we're trying to do.
I'm just curious, is there a temperature that you should use for coffee?
For hot water?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, especially with like a pour over, you want to keep it 200 degrees.
Yeah.
That's
I just want to show that. So this is why I'm asking, because there's actually a thermometer on here between my fingers. You can see it.
Yeah.
That's on top of this kettle that they basically do. So what's the temperature?
200 degrees, and that actually has to do a lot with like how soluble the coffee is.
We recommend if you're at home, you don't have a thermometer. If you boil water, it's like at a rolling boil. Just once it's done, you just let it sit without any flame for about 20 to 30 seconds, so that it kind of gets back down to. It's usually about 212 degrees when it's like at a rolling boil.
Yeah.
So you want to get it down to like 200. So just let it sit for 20, 30 seconds before you do your pour. And what Jacob's doing right now, the first pour. Poured about halfway, and that allows the coffee to bloom. So it breathes, and the gases kind of
Releases the CO2.
Releases the CO2, and then once that drains, then you fill it 2 or 3 times. It really depends on how diluted or you want your coffee to be, how strong you want it to taste.
So it's actually okay to do that. Like it's you could actually pour more in there.
Oh yeah.
And by the way, I love the terminology. Bloom. I mean, you guys think coffee bloom? You just found out from Sunday coffee bloom, right? And did you know that it should be 200 degrees? And how do you get to be 200 degrees? Take it off, let it sit. I didn't know that. I thought I knew. I thought I was a snob where it came to
So
coffee.
we're used to just putting in a filter in the morning, dosing the coffee, pushing a button, and then your machine just makes
There's
coffee.
snobs and then there's nerds too, where I think we're like we're the coffee
Oh,
guys.
I
for
feel
sure.
like I just got dissed, actually. I just called a snob instead of a nerd. Wow. Okay, that's kind of twisted on many levels, right?
Yeah.
But I will tell you, the funny thing about this is, I joked about it in the earlier segment where I said, before my coffee in the morning, I'm not safe to myself or others around me. Okay, so to your point, half the time, part of the reason why I'm either putting too much coffee in there or whatever is I'm not even awake. And so this actually takes the guesswork out of it completely. I just open this thing, I put it in, and I'm actually astounded that you guys are continuing. I know the container is large, so we're trying to, but I'm astounded that the quality of coffee actually will allow you to pour more. It's the third pour that you put in there. That's fascinating. I can't wait to try that. I do want to try it because you would think third pour, it's all diluted by now. I mean, you saw the bag. It's not a very big bag, right?
Yeah, it's 3.
Yeah, that's the third one. And I'm looking at it and I'm watching it from the top. You guys can't see it, but you can tell from the coloration that it's actually pretty clear. So let me try that if I can. So there you go. See, the whole thing is disposable, biodegradable, right? So here I am. I'm going to try this. Oh wow, that's good. That's really good. Yeah, that's the Ethiopian? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really good. I mean, they're both Ethiopian actually, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is the cold brew. Amazingly refreshing. Amazingly refreshing. Taste, no bitterness in it at all. It's just really smooth. This one here. Wow, that's really good. I could go back and forth between the two of them very easily. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you.
And sharing the passion that you guys have for Reborn. This is really a very cool brand. You guys should be aware of it. It's luxury in a cup, in a glass, whatever way you want. And so, thanks for joining us for this episode of Selling the Luxe Life. We will see you again with some more exciting news and exciting guests as we roll out more and more of these episodes. Thank you so much, everybody. Jacob,
Yeah,
thank
thank
you.
you.
Son, it's really a pleasure.
Thanks, Rob.
We'll be back with some more exciting episodes real soon.
Thank you for joining us this week on Selling the Luxe Life. We hope you enjoyed the show and look forward to hearing your thoughts and feedback via email on our social media platforms. Be sure to tune in next time as we continue discussing life's luxuries that inspire us while showcasing members of the Orange County community that share our same passion for sophisticated living.